Rihanna hasn't released a studio album or gone on a world tour since 2016, yet her fortune has grown to about $1.4 billion. Most of that wealth came after the music slowed down as she shifted from chart success to business ownership. The decisions behind that shift completely changed how Rihanna made her money. August 2021. Forbes runs a story that changes how the industry looks at celebrity money forever. Rihanna is officially a billionaire, not worth an estimated in the vague celebrity magazine sense. A real number, calculated the way Forbes calculates oil executives and tech founders. Rihanna is officially a billionaire and the wealthiest female musician in the world, according to Forbes. She is second only to Oprah Winfrey as the world's richest female entertainer. Here's the part that stops people cold. The pop star is worth $1.7 billion, with an estimated $1.4 billion coming from the value of her Fenty Beauty cosmetics company. Not her music catalog, not touring income, not endorsement checks. A makeup company. Rihanna didn't just lend her name to Fenty Beauty. Rihanna, whose real name is Robin Fenty, launched Fenty Beauty in 2017 in a partnership with luxury goods company LVMH. That partnership structure is the entire story. She didn't take a royalty, she took equity. 50% of the company split down the middle with one of the biggest luxury conglomerates on the planet. And the brand didn't creep into billion-dollar territory. It launched into it. Industry analysts have pointed to Fenty Beauty making $100 million in revenue within its first 2 months on shelves. The brand achieved $100 million in revenue within its first 2 months, an unprecedented launch for a celebrity beauty brand. That's not a slow build. That's an explosion. Then there's the lingerie side of the empire. Rihanna didn't stop at makeup. After the success of Fenty Beauty, Rihanna introduced Savage X Fenty in 2018, a lingerie company that was built around size, inclusivity, and diverse representation. By 2021, that business had its own headline moment. In 2021, Savage X Fenty reached a valuation above $1 billion after raising a $115 million Series B funding round. At the time, the company reported revenue growth of more than 200% and an increase in its active VIP member base of over 150%. Two separate billion-dollar businesses, built by one woman who a decade earlier was known almost exclusively for chart-topping singles. Rihanna became the first Black woman to build $2 billion companies, with Fenty Beauty and Savage X Fenty holding a combined valuation of more than $3 billion. This is the part that gets lost in the headlines about her being a billionaire, the ownership structure. When Rihanna's team negotiated Fenty Beauty, they didn't take the standard celebrity deal. Rihanna negotiated something fundamentally different. She secured a 50-50 joint venture with LVMH's Kendo Brands division. That distinction, joint venture instead of endorsement, is worth billions of dollars in the long run. The joint venture structure meant Rihanna did not just endorse Fenty Beauty, she co-owns it. Every dollar of brand value that accumulates flows 50% to her. Compare that to how most celebrity brands work. Most celebrity beauty brands work like this. A famous person licenses their name to a manufacturer, films a few ads, collects a royalty check, and hopes the brand outlasts the first holiday season. Rihanna's team looked at that model and rejected it entirely. The numbers back up why that mattered. When the brand reached a valuation of approximately $2.8 billion, her half was worth roughly $1.4 billion. Compare that to a 5% royalty on the same revenue, which would yield roughly $75 million per year. Significant money, yes, but categorically different from ownership. That's the headline. That's the number that made news outlets around the world run the same story. Pop star becomes billionaire, and it has almost nothing to do with music. But to understand how she got the leverage to demand that kind of deal in the first place, you have to go back before Fenty Beauty even existed. Back to a teenager from Barbados who spent over a decade building the kind of global fame that makes a company like LVMH pick up the phone. Before there was a Fenty empire, there was just Robin Rihanna Fenty, born in St. Michael, Barbados, and signed to Def Jam Records as a teenager. Our first introduction to Rihanna, the propulsive debut single Pon de Replay, was a near-immediate hit in 2005. She was 17. What followed was one of the most aggressive hit streaks in modern pop music. She has also remained at the forefront of culture because of the extramusical empire she built beginning in 2017. But before that, SOS in 2006, Umbrella in 2007, Disturbia in 2008, Run This Town in 2009, Only Girl in the World, plus Rude Boy, S&M, What's My Name, and Love the Way You Lie in 2010. Umbrella deserves its own mention because it's the song that turned her from a promising newcomer into a genuine pop institution. With a feature from Jay-Z, Umbrella went on to top the charts for 7 weeks as the lead single off Good Girl Gone Bad. It won her a Grammy and became one of the defining singles of the decade. The hits kept coming almost every year after that. In 2011, We Found Love and its accompanying music video became a feast for the Tumblr age, and Diamonds joined her collection of #1s the following year. She has 14 to date. By the time she was in her early 20s, she'd already rewritten records for how fast an artist could rack up chart toppers. She became the youngest artist to have 10 #1 Billboard hits at age 23. Then, in 2016, something shifted. She released Anti, her 8th album, and her first one to be released under Rock Nation and Westbury Road after leaving Def Jam Recordings. It gave the world Work, Kiss It Better, and Love on the Brain, and it stuck around the charts for nearly 3 years. The album spent 159 weeks on the Billboard Hot 200, graced with hits such as Work, Kiss It Better, and Love on the Brain. And then, nothing. No 9th album. Fans have been waiting for what's now been referred to online as R9 for the better part of a decade. She popped up on guest features in 2017. She hit #2 alongside DJ Khaled on Wild Thoughts and #14 alongside Kendrick Lamar on Loyalty. She dropped one-off singles for movie soundtracks. But the full-length solo album everyone expected simply stopped arriving. This is the moment people usually frame as a career pause. It wasn't. It was a redirect. While the music went quiet, something else was accelerating in the background, and it traces back further than most people realize. Rihanna trademarked her last name, Fenty, back in 2013, 4 years later. That trademark came to fruition with the launch of Fenty Beauty. She'd been planning the pivot for years before anyone noticed the music had slowed down. And when Fenty Beauty did launch, it wasn't framed as a side project. Fenty Beauty also marked the singer's first major pivot away from the entertainment industry overall. That pivot came with an idea nobody else in the beauty industry had committed to at scale. The line notably featured 40 shades of foundation as Rihanna sought to fill a void in the makeup market with a brand that catered to diverse skin tones. At the time, that number sounded almost absurd. Competing brands were offering a fraction of that range. For decades, billion-dollar beauty companies looked at dark-skinned women and decided 20 foundation shades was enough. Nobody in any boardroom thought that was worth fixing. Then, a pop star from Barbados proved every single one of them wrong. The industry response was immediate and it wasn't subtle. Competitors scrambled. Fenty Beauty's 50 Shade Foundation lineup disrupted a $500 billion global cosmetics industry, prompting incumbents like Estée Lauder to expand portfolios and invest in diversity metrics. So when people ask how a singer with no formal business degree walked into a room with LVMH and negotiated a 50-50 ownership split instead of a licensing fee, this is the answer. It wasn't luck. It was 15 years of built-up cultural capital, a decade of chart dominance, and a product idea that solved a problem the entire beauty industry had ignored. LVMH wasn't betting on a celebrity face. They were betting on someone who'd already proven she could move culture at scale, and this time, she wanted to own the thing she was moving. That set up the next phase of the story. What happens once you're sitting on top of $2 billion businesses and the empire starts testing its limits? Once Fenty Beauty proved the model worked, Rihanna didn't slow down. She expanded fast, and not every expansion landed the same way. Savage X Fenty launched with a specific mission. In 2018, the pop star turned entrepreneur launched her largely anticipated lingerie line, Savage X Fenty, with the collection launched with 90 pieces of lingerie, sleepwear, and accessories with an extensive sizing range. She wanted the brand to stand apart from the traditional lingerie giants, and she said so directly. "I can only hope to encourage confidence and strength by showing lingerie in another light," she told Vogue. That inclusivity pitch worked. Savage X Fenty upended lingerie norms with extended sizing up to 4X, fostering loyalty in a $90 billion segment and achieving valuations exceeding $1 billion. The brand didn't just sell underwear, it built an entire annual spectacle around itself, with elaborate fashion shows streamed to global audiences, mixing musical performances with a runway that intentionally cast every body type. Then came Fenty Skin, an extension of the beauty side of things. In July 2020, Rihanna announced the launch of beauty brand Fenty Skin. It slotted neatly into the existing Fenty beauty infrastructure, adding skincare products to a cosmetics line that already had global distribution through LVMH's network. But not every branch of the empire succeeded, and the one that didn't offers the clearest lesson in why ownership structure matters so much. In 2019, Rihanna became the first woman of color to lead a fashion house under LVMH. She partnered with LVMH to launch the Fenty fashion line in 2019, becoming the first woman of color to lead a fashion house at LVMH. It was historic. It was also short-lived. Fenty Maison, Rihanna's LVMH-backed fashion house, launched in May 2019 and closed in February 2021. It was the first new fashion house LVMH had launched since Christian Lacroix in 1987. Less than 2 years after its launch, the doors closed. The closure represented a rare public failure for both Rihanna and the world's largest luxury conglomerate. Why did it fail when beauty and lingerie succeeded? The answer comes down to the mechanics of each business. Fashion requires seasonal collections, runway shows, physical retail, and inventory risk, while beauty involves high-margin consumable products with repeat purchase cycles and digital-first distribution. Her fan base showed up for one and not the other. Rihanna's audience showed up to buy $42 foundation. They did not show up to buy $1,000 ready-to-wear. That failure didn't slow the rest of the empire down, but it did prove that even a partnership with the largest luxury company on earth couldn't force a business model to work if the underlying economics weren't there. Around this same period, Rihanna made another business move that tends to get overshadowed by the beauty headlines: her deal with Puma. She'd already built a reputation as a style disruptor with the brand, having led the Fenty X Puma sneaker and apparel collaboration, mixing streetwear silhouettes with high-fashion detailing that got her placed on best-dressed lists year after year. That partnership ran for years and became a template other musicians would later copy, trading a flat endorsement fee for creative control, and in some structures, a cut of sales. Meanwhile, the beauty and lingerie brands kept climbing, both in valuation and in what they contributed to Rihanna's overall fortune. Not every year was smooth, though. Savage X Fenty went through leadership turnover. Rihanna stepped down as CEO in 2023 to become executive chair, maintaining strategic control while bringing in outside leadership. The company brought in a new chief executive to run daily operations while Rihanna focused on brand direction and long-term strategy. A common move for founders once a company reaches a certain scale, but that transition came with turbulence of its own. The CEO departed for Victoria's Secret in 2024 and sales flattened. For a business that had spent years growing at breakneck speed, a flattening was a signal worth watching. None of this erased the scale of what had been built. By the mid-2020s, Fenty Beauty alone was pulling in serious annual revenue. Fenty Beauty launched on September 8, 2017, and generated $570 million in its first full year. As of 2024, it brings in over $600 million annually and is valued between $2 and $3 billion. Add the lingerie brand on top of that, and you get a picture of a woman who, within less than a decade of stepping back from music, had constructed one of the largest self-built commercial portfolios in entertainment. Her 50% ownership in a brand valued at $2.3 billion puts her share at $1.5 billion, and combined with Savage x Fenty, music royalties and investments, her net worth is approximately $1.4 billion. That scale is exactly what made the next chapter of the story so significant, because when a business gets that big, it starts attracting attention from people who want a piece of it. While the businesses were compounding in the background, Rihanna still had one more massive public moment left in her, and it doubled as proof that she hadn't left the spotlight. She just redirected where she chose to stand in it. February 2023. Rihanna takes the field at State Farm Stadium for the Super Bowl LVII halftime show, her first live performance in 5 years. Her 2023 Super Bowl halftime show marked her first time taking the stage in 5 years and performing hit after hit while unveiling a baby bump. Her 13-minute set became one of the most watched halftime shows of all time, with over 121 million viewers. She ran through a medley stacked with her biggest records. She delivered her first live performance in 5 years, returning to the stage with a medley of her biggest hits, including Bitch Better Have My Money, We Found Love, Work, and Umbrella. But the moment that actually broke the internet wasn't a song, it was a gesture. While Rihanna did not make an official pregnancy announcement at the big game, her repeated rubbing of her belly was apparently a signal. First during her opening number while suspended over the 50-yard line, and again during her final number, Diamonds, when she gave her stomach another quick but impossible to ignore caress. Within the hour, her representative confirmed it. Rihanna is pregnant with her second child. A representative for the singer confirmed to multiple outlets after her Super Bowl 2023 halftime show. She later admitted the whole thing wasn't planned. "Here's the thing. I did what I had to do, right? My jumper couldn't zip up," she said with a laugh. Her stylist had been told to keep the outfit stretchy just in case. And on game day, the zipper simply gave out. "No one knew I was pregnant. I just told my stylist, make sure it's stretchy." So the undergarment was stretchy, and this was baggy. But you know, the zip, it just stopped right there. It made her the first woman to headline a Super Bowl halftime show while pregnant, and it reminded the entire world that the businesswoman narrative hadn't replaced the performer. It had simply absorbed her. Not long after, the business side of her story took its most dramatic turn yet. Fenty Beauty, the brand responsible for the bulk of her fortune, suddenly found itself the subject of takeover talk. Fall 2025. Reports surfaced that LVMH, the conglomerate that had been her 50-50 partner since day one, was quietly shopping its half of the company. LVMH is exploring a sale of its 50% stake in Fenty Beauty, which it co-owns with singer and entrepreneur Rihanna, according to Reuters sources. The brand's fundamentals were still strong. Fenty Beauty, which generated around $450 million of net sales in 2024, could be valued at somewhere between $1 billion and $2 billion. The process wasn't casual either. It involved serious financial machinery. Reuters reported that the confidential process includes investment bank Evercore, while half of Fenty Beauty's ownership belongs to Rihanna, with Kendo Brands, the beauty incubator under LVMH, owning the other. For a brand that had once been valued as high as $2.8 billion, the number being floated in the sale talks was a step down, and industry watchers were quick to point out why. The brand is currently valued at between $1 billion and $2 billion, a significant decline from the $2.8 billion valuation Forbes attributed to it in 2021, reflecting a more competitive prestige makeup landscape and the challenges of sustaining the exceptional growth Fenty achieved in its founding years. Then, months later, a name entered the bidding that turned this from a finance story into a full-blown culture story: Jay-Z. Jay-Z's Marcy Penn is pursuing LVMH's 50% stake in Rihanna's Fenty Beauty, valued at up to $2 billion in multiple financing talks. It wasn't a cold approach. Jay-Z's firm already had ties running back years into Rihanna's business world. Jay-Z's firm has existing ties to Rihanna's business ecosystem. Marcy Venture Partners, Marcy Penn's predecessor, participated in funding rounds for Savage X Fenty in both 2019 and 2022. The firms know each other. The relationships are established. Analysts framed it as a natural fit rather than an outside raid. That context makes Marcy Penn a strategically coherent buyer in a way that a purely financial acquirer would not be. Crucially, whatever happens with LVMH's half, Rihanna's own stake was never on the table. Rihanna retains her 50% stake and would continue leading the brand regardless of who acquires LVMH's half. The question the sale process is designed to answer is not whether she remains in control, but who brings the most useful combination of capital, network, and strategic alignment alongside her. That single fact reframes the entire sales story. This wasn't Rihanna losing her company. It was Rihanna potentially picking up a new partner, one who might understand her brand and her culture even better than the one she started with. So where does that leave the empire today? And what does it say about the woman who built it? The Forbes numbers tell part of the story, and they've shifted with the market. 2025 brought challenges. Forbes' list of America's richest self-made women showed a $400 million decline in her estimated wealth, attributed to flat sales at Fenty Beauty and executive departures at Savage X Fenty. Even billionaires face market corrections. That decline is real, and it's worth sitting with instead of glossing over. Savage X Fenty has faced headwinds of its own. Its CEO departed for Victoria's Secret in 2024. Sales flattened, and Forbes noted a $400 million decline in Rihanna's estimated net worth. The empire is not invincible, but the beauty core remains the engine, and the engine still runs. Even with the correction, the underlying math still points to a fortune built almost entirely outside the recording booth. Rihanna remains a global icon and one of the most commercially successful artists in history. Though the vast majority of her $1.4 billion net worth is now derived from her business ventures rather than her music. It's a strange kind of milestone when you consider she hasn't dropped a full album in roughly a decade. She hasn't released an album since Anti in 2016, yet her wealth has quadrupled since then. The transformation from pop star to beauty mogul represents one of the most successful pivots in entertainment history. Even Rihanna herself has admitted the number still feels foreign to her. Asked about the billionaire label not long after Forbes made it official, she brushed off any grand narrative and kept things simple, telling The Cut she marked the occasion the same way she marks most nights, with takeout. She told The Cut that she celebrated the news of her billionaire status by ordering Chinese food for dinner, explaining, "I usually do pork fried rice, but that day was chicken fried rice." That's the tension sitting at the center of this whole story. On one hand, a nine-figure business empire, an LVMH partnership, a bidding war involving one of hip-hop's biggest moguls. On the other, a woman who still orders the same takeout regardless of what her balance sheet says. Her life outside the boardroom has kept moving too. She's built a family with AAP Rocky, and the couple's most recent addition arrived in the back half of 2025. While the couple is not legally married, they share 3 children together: Riza, Riot, and their youngest child, born in 2025. That third pregnancy got its own signature reveal, echoing the surprise she pulled off on the biggest stage in American sports 2 years earlier. Rihanna turned heads at the 2025 Met Gala with a surprise reveal of her third pregnancy, effortlessly debuting her baby bump. In true Riri fashion, there was no announcement, just an iconic entrance. After the Super Bowl and now the Met, pregnancy reveals are officially her red carpet signature. Musically, the world is still waiting. Fans have gotten one-off tracks here and there. A Black Panther soundtrack cut, a Smurfs movie single, but no 9th album. The singer kept fans going with 2025 release Friend of Mine from the Smurfs movie, and Riri says she's finally cracked her latest album. Whether that album arrives or not almost doesn't matter to the bottom line anymore. And that's the real shift this story has been tracking the whole way through. What started as a pop career built on chart records turned into something that outgrew the charts entirely. $2 billion companies from one artist, a seat at the table with the largest luxury conglomerate on the planet, a stake that Jay-Z's own investment firm is now trying to partner into, a Super Bowl reveal that made headlines louder than most of her actual songs did that year. None of that erases the music that got her here, the 15 years of number ones that built the fame LVMH bet on in the first place. But it does answer the question this story set out to answer. The path from pop icon to businesswoman wasn't a slow fade from one identity into another. It was a calculated stacking of one on top of the other, built brand by brand, deal by deal, until the businesswoman quietly became the bigger story.